Just when you thought the Blitz Royale couldn't get any better, Epic went and released a huge update to this new exciting mode. Not only did they add Mega City, one of my personal favorite POIs, but they added the new mode Pure Chaos, which has got the community talking. But guys, I hate to say it, Epic lied to us. What's up guys, my name is Jack Galactic, welcome to the channel. So when I had heard that they had dropped Mega City into the Blitz Royale map, I couldn't be more excited. I was someone that really loved Chapter 4. Chapter 4 goes down, in history as being one of the more beloved chapters of the game of Fortnite. And for me personally, it always holds a special place in my heart because it was the first chapter that I ever played start to finish. I didn't start playing the game till midway through Chapter 3, and so because of that, Chapter 4 was the first chapter that I experienced in its entirety. So you can imagine my excitement when I heard that they were bringing Mega City to the Blitz Royale game mode. Blitz Royale is probably my current favorite mode, and I couldn't wait to see how Mega City would fit into the gameplay. Really, when I dropped in over the last couple of days, it was just to check out the Mega City and see how it was, and was it everything that I remembered it to be? And I gotta say, I've been having a blast. The grind rails, for me, that's pure nostalgia right there. Even though it's only been 2 years, I know I missed Mega City. But that really wasn't what got the community talking over the last few days. No, the thing that the community has been talking about was the new mode that they released within Blitz called Pure Chaos. Now, I don't know if the Fortnite community just got it wrong or if Epic truly did lie to us, but the word on the street has been that Pure Chaos was going to be a zero bot mode. It was going to be nothing but real players playing this game. And for all the OGs out there, the ones that lived through Chapter 1 and have been complaining about bots ever since they brought them in Chapter 2, they were saying that this was going to be the thing that changed Fortnite for the better. This was going to be the change that makes everyone experience a more true and pure version of Fortnite, much like the game was when it first started. But guys, I am here to tell you, there are a lot of bots in Pure Chaos. I'm going to issue a little challenge right now. The game you're watching here is, I think, the second game I played of this session. The first maybe 3 or 4, I don't even really remember, but the first 3 or 4 games of this session I just played in your standard Blitz mode. And we all know standard Blitz mode only has, maybe 2, 3 real players at the most. It's about 90% bots. I was kind of a little nervous to drop into Pure Chaos and see what it was all about. But the challenge I'm issuing you is this. You tell me at what point in this video do I switch from the standard game mode to the Pure Chaos game mode. And I'm going to give you a little hint. You're not going to be able to tell, because as far as I can tell, there was no difference in the amount of bots in Pure Chaos as there was in the standard Blitz mode. I don't know if it's just because it's kind of early into its release and they're easing into it, but from what I could tell, I don't think I saw a real player this entire session. There might have been 1 or 2 here and there. If you see one in this video and you say, oh yeah, I think that's a real player, leave your comment down below and let me know. But reviewing this footage, and even at the time when I was playing it, I'm going, I don't think there's any real players here. All of these feel like bots. And I've reviewed this footage multiple times as I was editing this video, and I still haven't seen anyone that I feel convinced for sure 100% is a real player. Now, obviously, not every player that plays the game is going to be a super skilled player. And in fact, I'm sure there's a lot of people that have played against me that probably assumed I was a bot with the way that I play and the way that I move. But I expected it to feel a little more like, say, higher lobbies and ranked. Once you start getting into platinum and diamond, and especially onward to the upper levels of ranked, those are all real players. And that is a sweaty game mode, let me tell you. Honestly, I even find Reload to be more sweaty. than Blitz, even in the pure chaos mode. And we obviously know that there are bots in Reload. So I don't know if maybe this is just a glitch or a bug and we're not seeing the full potential of the pure chaos mode, but from what I can see, you know, Blitz Royale, even in the pure chaos mode, it's still a bot fest. I mean, you might as well be calling Mega City Bot City, because that's pretty much all I saw when I was playing this game. You know, as someone that didn't start playing the game until Chapter 3, I don't really understand fully what the big deal is about having bots in the game. I mean, I get it. If you're someone that was used to a game with no bots at all, if you were used to playing against nothing but real players, I can certainly see why this would not feel like the Fortnite that you know and love. This would feel like almost a cheap imitation. And I understand that. But what I don't understand is Epic's heavy reliance on bots. You know, something I've heard a lot of content creators say over really the whole time I've been playing the game is, why can't you just have a mode that toggles bots on and off? How hard would it be to have, say, 3 separate game modes? You have an easy mode that's maybe 10% real players, 90% bots. Then you have maybe like a medium mode that has something like, I don't know, 25 to 50% real players, and, you know, 50 to 75% bots, depending on how the lobby shakes out. From what I understand, OG is dropping a mode called Expert Mode. That right there is an absolute joke. So it seemed like when they were dropping Pure Chaos in Blitz and Expert Mode in OG, a lot of people thought that was going to be the thing that changed the game. That's when it was going to feel like old Fortnite, with nothing but real players battling it out to be the last man standing. Well, as it were, the Expert Mode in OG has a maximum of 10 real players. Not a minimum of 10 real players, a maximum of 10 real players. And they're calling that Expert Mode? Are you kidding me? Even I, as a pretty terrible player that is not very skilled at the game, I feel like I could do okay in a lobby with only 10 real players. Epic, you have got to get this under control. I mean, you're doing nothing but alienating your community. And even though I personally like to play with bots, honestly, the thing that I liked about Blitz the most was the fact that it was predominantly bots. I'm able to get several victory royales in Blitz, something that I'm almost never able to get in OG or whatever the current chapter of Battle Royale is at the moment. But in Blitz, I'm able to do it. Does that mean that, oh, I'm not very good at the game? Yeah, that's what it means. But it doesn't make the game any less fun for me. I enjoy playing a more simple, casual, fun game mode like Blitz, and it's because of the bots. That's what makes it fun for me. I think what a lot of the OGs don't realize is that most people at this point in its life started playing the game after bots were already in the game. The type of gameplay that they experienced with a bot-heavy lobby, that is what made them fall in love with the game. Most people that are playing this game now probably would not continue playing if it was all real players all the time. But if they created a mode that allowed you to play against all real players, but it's something you had to opt into, that to me would satisfy the Fortnite community fully. If you're someone like myself that wants to play against bots, you can toggle the bots on and off. I've heard Clark Clint say this. I've heard Evolve Jake say this. I think I even heard Ninja say it at one time. I don't understand why they feel like you have to have bots to be able to play this game. If people want to play against all real players, let's give them an option to play against all real players. But I also don't think that it should be an all or nothing sort of thing. I don't think that it should just be, okay, you're going to be playing with 90% bots or you're going to be playing with 100% real players and nothing in between. You know, like I said, a 3-tiered system or even a 4-tiered system, I think would work really, really well. Now, I can understand why they probably wouldn't want to do that. Obviously, anything that we do that further divides the player base or the player pool to go into the various game modes is going to effectively hurt the game. One of the biggest complaints about the metaverse is that there are just so many different game modes for people to play, and all it does is just further and further divide the player base. And that is true. And I do think that if you were to have a sort of toggle on and off with bots, somewhere in the settings, that would, of course, divide the player base a little bit, but I don't think it would divide it as much as a lot of people think. And I also don't think that there would be nearly as many people playing those, all real player lobbies as a lot of the OGs think that there would. I really like to watch Clint. He's one of the guys that I've been watching a lot over the last year, and that's something that he talks about a lot too, toggling the bots on and off. He's been very, very vocal about wanting to have all real players in his lobby. And I get that. I totally get it. As someone who started playing back in Chapter 1, for them, that's what made Fortnite such an enjoyable, fun game to play. But for the vast majority of us, that wouldn't really be a fun experience. I mean, the whole reason that I don't play Reload is because I find it to be so sweaty. And there's still bots in Reload. So the fact that, even with bots in the game, it's that sweaty, I just never was able to find any enjoyment out of it. In fact, I found it to be rather frustrating when I tried to play. Blitz, on the other hand, I think the reason that I fell in love with it so quickly, and I've really continued to gravitate toward it every time I drop in to play the game, is because it is a more casual, fun game mode. It's not very hard, it's not very sweaty, and I can just drop in and have a good time. If you're not the kind of person that has a good time playing against bots, by all means, go play against real players. I hear a lot of people talk about, I just want to play real players. Well, I don't see you playing ranked. That's the thing that no one seems to ever want to talk about. Fortnite has a real player mode. It's called ranked. Get past gold, and then you're going to be playing against nothing but real players. And then once you do that, try that for a session and tell me how much you miss having bots in your lobby. It's not fun to play against a bunch of sweaty tryhards where that's the only thing that they're trying to do is go out there and get as many wins as possible. They're trying to get as many kills as possible. I don't find that to be fun. I get that there's probably other people out there that do find it to be fun, but I don't. The other thing that I don't think a lot of those OGs realize is they have years and years and years of experience under their belt that by default is going to make them better than the average Fortnite player. If you're someone that started playing in Chapter 1, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but literally every year we drop a new chapter now. And every year there's people that start playing the game for the first time. It's funny to me when I start hearing people talk about, I didn't start playing till Chapter 5. I've seen several people say, I didn't start playing till Chapter 6. There's always new people coming into this game literally every day. And those type of players, man, it would be tough for them to just suddenly drop into a lobby full of all, in a battle royale match, 100 real players. They're not used to that. And they didn't have years and years and years training in that training ground that was Chapter 1 to be able to face, other real players. The thing that I've heard a lot of people talk about is, we can't really go back to OG, because even if you do go back and play OG, even with all real players, the fact is most people now are way better than the average Fortnite player was in Chapter 1, because they've had so much time to play the game. They've had so much time to work on the mechanics. They've had so much time to improve, whether it's in, build mode or zero build at this point. They've had way more time to practice their skills. It'd be a different story if we could hop in a DeLorean and go back to 2017 and 2018 and play against a bunch of people that didn't know how to play the game. Yeah, I think I'd probably do okay in that situation. But I've experienced it playing in Reload, and I've experienced it a lot playing in Ranked. Going up against a bunch of other players, man, I can't even begin to compete. The moment I run into a real player in a ranked game, I am dead. And I am dead usually faster than I can even get my weapon on them to try to return fire. They are so quick. They are so fast. Their aim is so good. And for just a casual player like myself, there's nothing you can really do to compete. Now, I do know that we have a cheating problem in all of Fortnite competitive, and it even spills over into just basic ranked games. You know, people will drop in with whatever their hacks that they're running on their computer, and they'll just sit there and play ranked, all day. I get that. I realize that's a problem, and I see videos talking about it all the time. So sure, maybe it's a situation where cheaters are getting after me, but do you think that there won't be cheaters in a pubs game if it's, all real players? Come on. There's just too many people now that cheat within the video game world for that not to be a problem. It maybe if they could get the cheating completely and fully under control, maybe I'd consider playing a mode with all real players. And I would still play if Pure Chaos ever truly becomes where all 30 players are real players. I'd give it a shot and see how it's going to go. But right now, Pure Chaos, it's still a bot fest. Even right now, as I'm reviewing this footage, as I'm recording this commentary, I still haven't seen a singular player that I think was a real player. I mean, just look at this guy right here. Very obviously and clearly a bot. Look at how many times I've been standing there getting shot at and just had no problem just strafing to the left or the right, get my kills, and just move on with my day. To me, that's what makes Blitz fun. It's the fact that I don't have to worry about running and hiding. I don't have to worry about finding cover. I can just have a good time with the game. And, for me, I find it as a great way to warm up before I move into, regular Battle Royale or OG or whatever it is I'm going to do for my session. This is a great way to warm up. If it became all real players, it would be easily the sweatiest game mode in Fortnite. But as it were, it's still predominantly bots. So I'm curious what Epic's going to do in the future. I'm curious if they're even going to address this or if it's just going to keep moving on. But for me, I couldn't find really any difference between standard Blitz mode and Pure Chaos. I wonder what the percentage of real players drop into the Pure Chaos mode. I tried to look for it online and I couldn't really find anything that I trusted that told me, but it seems that it's still only just a handful of real players, if any. I don't know, maybe that guy that just killed me there was a real player. I'm not really 100% sure. I couldn't see him, but I did watch as I was loading into my next game. I spectated for a couple of minutes, and they did move like a real player. They didn't appear to do any of the sort of bot-like activities. So it could have potentially been a real player. But basically, it does feel like everything in Pure Chaos is still pretty much just bots. We'll see if things change over the coming days and weeks. We'll see if it's maybe like a slow burn where they'll increase the number of role players within that mode until it eventually reaches something where maybe 50% or 75% or even 100% of the players are real players. But as of right now, I gotta call it, man. Epic lied to us. Or maybe we as a community lied to ourselves. There's so many people that wanted to see a 100% real player game mode. I think maybe they just heard the name and instantly made assumptions. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But in the meantime, I am going to keep playing Blitz and I'm going to keep playing Pure Chaos. And if eventually it gets to a point where it feels like there are more real players in this game mode, then I will release another video talking about it. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep doing what I do, and I'm going to keep playing Blitz, and I'm going to keep killing bots like it's going out of style, because that's what I do. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. Appreciate you watching. Why don't you leave your comments down below? Tell me what you think. Do you feel like that this mode has more real players, or do you feel like it's still just bots? Tell me your experiences. Have you played the mode? Do you run into any real players in this mode, or do you just run into other bots like I did? All right, guys, that's going to be it. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.